Hey everyone, Vidette here. I have decided to come in here and do a Supernal channel reading to get some direction for us. And as we do anything for others, it's really to begin the process of doing it for ourselves. And why I say that is for the last 6-7 weeks or so, since I've taken a huge jump in physical reality, and have taken this time to really just get integrated, get grounded with integrating a lot of lessons learned over these last couple of years and getting into a space that feels comfortable now. It's taken me about 6 or 7 weeks to really just feel grounded. And the other thing that I've noticed in those 6 or 7 weeks, which has been the most uncomfortable part, is that the messages from my supernal channel, from my intuition, when I say this, it's not coming from outside of me, it's just how I define it for myself. But our intuitive messages come from our universal communication channel. And that universal communication channel is the place where our soul is connected to universal knowledge, to source, God, nature, the universe, spirit, whatever works for you. And prior to making this big jump in physical reality, my connection was loud, and I don't mean in an obtrusive way, but more so in a very clear way. And that voice that was coming through was what I shared on Peace Talks, on daily tune-ins over the last few years. And the interesting thing is, in these last 6 or 7 weeks, it's been so quiet. And although now I'm in a comfortable physical reality, that part of that multidimensional part of me, the spiritual communication, has been so quiet. And that was what I was relying on when I was so in the unknown. So having that be so quiet over the last 6 or 7 weeks has been really uncomfortable for me. And I'm feeling the need now to really start to tap into that, to start turning that on. I'm feeling I've got some movement going on in my own world here that requires communication. So I am going to record this this attempt to make contact, and I'm going to do it through cards. I want to bring this into a practical way. I'm not someone who, does the card readings regularly. I do play with cards a lot for my own personal self, but I haven't picked them up in these last 6 or 7 weeks. I haven't done a whole lot of peace talks because there's not a whole lot of messages coming through. And what I've come to understand really is that there comes a point where there doesn't need to be communication. We are exactly where we need to be, and where I needed to be in these last 6 or 7 weeks is integrating the energy of discomfort, of trusting the messages that come within when they don't make sense without. And after 2 years of doing that, I realized that those 2 years were divinely guided only by spirit, because nothing about them could make logical sense for Bud and I to figure out our journey. My hair's a crazy mess. But at the same time, now I've been directed, oh my gosh, look at my hair, y'all. Now I've been directed to where I am, and I know that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And now that I have gotten my feet grounded, my energetic roots grounded into this reality that I'm in, I am starting to feel myself be ready for what comes next. How do these roots grow? How do they manifest into physical reality? How does this 5D earth come into creation, into manifestation, moving forward. So the one thing I wanted to also remind us is I did a reading back in September for the Jubilee year. And the last time I mentioned it on a Peace Talks was in January, and the theme for January was evolution. And evolution was definitely my experience. I evolved out of one world into another. Spiritually, things went quiet. Mentally and emotionally, things went peaceful. Physically, things went from Albania to Northern California here. So it was a massive jump. It was a massive evolution in my multi-dimensional experience, which is why it took so long. So I didn't put anything out referring to the theme for February. Let me find it here. But the theme for February that we just passed through was She the Lotus. She the Lotus. And what came to me when I looked at that this morning, because I didn't even look to see what the theme was for February, in February, but what came to me immediately was the experience that I had in February was about blossoming in. Lotuses, as we know, grow from the muck and the mud and the mire of ponds. So you have to have a really murky, muddy bottom for a lotus to bloom. And I think February was kind of, like I said, I rooted in January. I evolved into a new reality, and you did too, in consciousness, in some way. I'm trying to put some practicality, some tangible evidence to what happened in the evolution of our consciousness in January. So in February, we blossomed into that consciousness. We grew out of the muck and the mire of evolution and all of the other themes that we had throughout the last few months. Now we move into March, and the theme for March is unique gifts. And that is what I want to read into more, because what I'm also noticing now in my reality, to give some practicality to this, is that now I'm being called into the evolution of the unique gifts that I have. I'm feeling called to evolve into a new expression of my work. And even though and I'm not talking about work for money kind of stuff. I'm talking about what is the work that I'm here to do in consciousness. What is it? How am I here to serve others? I know that I do have very unique gifts, as do you. And because of all of these energy centers now being online, and we've been evolved into a higher operating system of consciousness, what does that look like for us? So I wanted to just do a reading into unique gifts. What does this month bring us as far as the theme of our unique gifts? So I have zero clue what that means. Yeah, when I literally saw the words, I was like, nothing comes to me. And so I'm going to draw it forth. I'm going to call it forth in what we need to know as a collective for, how our unique gifts are being expressed, how they're being called forth, how they are evolving. What does this look like for each of us? So let's just see what comes through. I have no idea, and hopefully I'm a little rusty on this stuff because I do feel like, I feel like it's been so quiet and so uncomfortable from my internal communication system that I'm going to try to, attempt to spark it into action by just having the cards lead our conversation around unique gifts. So, and I'm also going to use these runes. I picked up some runes that are like they're based on an ancient alphabet. I'm gonna bring those in. I'm not too versed on them, so I'm gonna have to use the booklet. But I think it'd be kind of fun to bring those in. So first card comes up Wise guide. Wise guide. I'll lay that down. And the interesting thing is, the I in wise reminds me what comes forth is what it looks like when you are fully connected to the internet. You know, I've been on one bar with my spiritual communication system, I feel like, but all of a sudden I'm seeing, you know, that we're in full bars, and it's interesting that has come open, and it's kind of like this whole clear universal space here. So that's what's coming up so far. And there might, what comes to me now as I look at it again is a wise guide. We are talking about the physical manifestation of our 5D, our heaven on earth, our ascended expression of life. We have worked through the purging and the clearing of densities emotionally, mentally. We're still clearing them physically, so that might still be a process that you're in. But I know from my own personal experience, the mental and emotional purging and balancing out has really felt clear, has felt at peace in these last 6 or 7 weeks. So I feel like I'm a clear vessel now within. My body has been still purging though, a challenge that I haven't had yet. So again, as we purge and get rid of the inner turmoil, the inner toxic thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, that those toxicities, once they are released, they do release physically out of our cells, out of the tissue. So all of that toxic energy that was mental and emotional, it now has to express out of our body. So aches and pains or different challenges might come, but you'll find that they're going to be very temporary. They come in and they go out, because it's just the body's way now of releasing everything that we've released emotionally and mentally. So now we are talking about manifesting and organizing in physical form our new earth, our new way of being. Therefore, what this card means to me is that we can expect to have a wise guide come in, an earth angel, maybe someone coming in with the consciousness now that will help direct these unique gifts, that will maybe help us to not express, but to understand new gifts that maybe were dormant within us that are now coming alive, and we may not understand them, but a wise guide will come in to show us the way. And we have to know that when this wise guide comes in, it is ours to pay attention to. So in March, let's just pay attention. What new people come into your world? What new presence? What new consciousness comes in that is going to start helping you and me develop our unique gifts? Whatever that gift is, whether it's a creative gift, whether it's an intuitive gift, whether it's maybe something that you've had training in, but all of a sudden that training gets to be practiced now, it gets to be put in front of people. And when this wise guide comes in, you will know, because you will feel the frequency so clearly. You will start to hear it so clearly. You will start to follow it very clearly and trust that wise guide. Then we have wonder tripping. All right. The thing that immediately comes to me, curiosity has been a big word over the last 6 or 8 weeks. And interestingly enough, when I was in Albania, so this is months ago now, I was doing a lot of journaling. And a lot of the journaling was, what are you curious about? What do you want to learn more about? And so I just started to be like, I want to crochet. And look, I'm sitting here next to a project now. Like what are the and it's not necessarily a curiosity for this is my unique gift that I'm bringing. I believe I was led to it simply because It's a methodology to change the way, to create new neural pathways in my brain, change the way my brain is thinking, change the way my brain works. Because when you learn something new, because you're curious about it, you start learning something new, that immediately starts to change the whole entire way your brain works. So with these 12 power centers that fully came online over this past year, they are redirecting our brain to work and think in a different way. These patterns of perfection. Patterns of perfection are patterns of thinking, patterns of feeling that are in alignment with the perfection of Source, of God. The light side of perfection. Perfection doesn't mean perfect. Not in this conversation. Perfection really means good. What is good for your soul? What is good for your brain? Crocheting has been a new curiosity that I decided to say yes to a few months ago, and I'm addicted to it because what I'm noticing is, as I'm learning new stitches, as I'm learning new ways of doing things, I'm messy and yet I can feel my brain thinking in a different way. So we are being wise guides are the things that we're curious about too. So wonder tripping means go trip on things that you're curious about. Follow it. What do you wonder about? Is it a place in the world that you want to travel to and you can? You've always wondered about, going to the I don't know, the pyramids. You've always wondered about going to sacred places. I'm saying all the things that I want to do. Maybe you wondered about, different energy vortexes, and you have the ability to and the freedom to travel. Go follow, take a wonder trip to those places. Maybe you have a hobby. Maybe you follow people on Instagram or whatever that are doing things that you're curious about. Maybe it's time to start stepping into that and take a trip into the wonderment of your curiosity in March. And again, that is helping to evolve into, what's the theme? Sorry, I'm totally blanking out on what the theme was. Our unique gifts. I'm going to keep that open because my brain just farted. And then feel desire now. That it goes right in alignment with the desire of curiosity. Say yes to it now. This is the time to do it. So feel the desire and do it now. Say yes to it immediately. So those are kind of the themes so far underneath the unique gifts. Our unique gifts are being upgraded. They're being brought into our physical form, so into our physical reality. Therefore, we have to start practicing them, or we have to start being curious with them. So I'm going to pick some, I'm going to choose some tarot to kind of go even deeper into these cards. This is feeling good because I'm feeling some energy flow through me. I'm feeling my wise guides speaking again. Holy mackerel. They've been so quiet, and I've been saying, where are you? Like, where'd you go? I need some guidance, and I'll go up on the mountain and I'll sit up there. And what I've been noticing though is my soul has been, I want to say, visiting different curiosities. It's been exploring different potential timelines. If I'm curious about this, if I go down that timeline, where does that lead me? How does that feel? I've been testing out with all of the new thoughts, the new insights, the new curiosities that I'm becoming more and more aware of in my mind. When I sit with each one and go down, a potential timeline of existence, what does that look like as I move forward? I look at, I feel into it, and there's a lot of things that I'm excited about. I just don't know where to begin with bringing it all together, while also trying to be in this practical world of, it takes resources to follow curiosities. So what more do we need to know about all of this? Oh, the Ace of Wands, coming out of nowhere, new ideas, new insights, coming out as you know, as if it's coming out of nowhere, and it's sitting right under that wise guide. The sun, illumination, new ideas, the same thing. You know, what's being birthed, what's being illuminated, what are you starting to feel warmth about? Like, oh, when you have a new idea, what are the ones that make you go, oh, that sounds pretty cool? The Page of Cups, yes. New, again, this is all new stuff. I feel like in March, there's going to be an illumination, like a massive, aha, you know, the whole experience of, oh my God, how did I not think about that? That's so obvious, but when it does come into your consciousness and you become aware of it, it's going to be that idea, that thing, that curiosity that all of a sudden seems to come out of nowhere, but you just sit there and look at it. And this is the Page of Cups, and it just feels really natural. It feels just so obvious that you're like, how did I not think of that before? And yet, because it wasn't time. It wasn't time for that unique gift to be illuminated yet. But in this month of March, in this timely month of March, but in this, put time aside, in this frequency of consciousness that you had to be in, because it was the timing of it. Divine timing is now for these new ideas to come into your consciousness. And yes, big changes, setting down the swords or setting down the gifts that maybe you've been working through, that have been obvious to you, picking up new ideas and running with them. And the very things that have kind of brought you struggle or heartache, those things are starting to be cleared out. Because what happens when all of a sudden the light goes on and we have an aha moment, and that's a breakthrough, right? A breakthrough means we've broken through the veil from one level of consciousness to the next, where all of a sudden we see things completely different. But because it's a momentary ascension into a new, like, I don't want to use the word time because I want to get away from logical time, but I'm still going to use it. It's a momentary fraction of a second in time to go from one level of consciousness to the next. So it's just 1 degree above when we have those illuminating thoughts, that all of a sudden it's the solution, it's the step in the right direction, where the things that were making you like think, and I need to, like, challenging you and bringing you, you know, when I say heartache, but just the turmoil, all of a sudden is alleviated. It's eliminated, because now you see it. The lights go on, and something comes out of nowhere, a thought comes out of nowhere, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I get that. I get it. And yes, I'm going to walk in that direction. And all of a sudden you walk away from maybe a direction you were going to pivot just a degree, because that 1 degree of consciousness that you have just risen into, that new frequency of thought, when you go into a new frequency, all of a sudden all the bars go up. You know, you can be walking around with your phone dead, but all of a sudden you just hit the spot where the bars go up and you have full service. Spiritually, that's what's going to be happening in March. All of a sudden we'll be in full service to others, and our unique gifts become illuminated, and it seems to come out of nowhere, but it's just simply because we are being given the gift of high vibrational scalar waves that are doing the work on our physical, or on our DNA, that then bring us into a higher level of thinking, a higher level of creation, a higher level of consciousness. And so it appears as all of a sudden this came out of nowhere, but it really didn't. It was within us the whole entire time. It's just these additional waves of energy that we are being supported with in the form of solar waves, or solar flares, you know, the high vibrational scalar waves that are coming in. They are redesigning us, recreating us from within. Therefore, we are literally being supported and dormant dormant ideas, dormant parts of us are now coming awake. We are awakening into a brand new version of ourselves, which means a new version that thinks differently, that creates differently, and without all of the static and distortion of the denser emotions and mental ways of thinking. All of that has been cleared out. We have a completely new way of receiving these insights and these new ideas. Okay, so I'm gonna go just a little bit deeper. I got these like little miniature cards and I love them. I'll sit here at night, Bud and I will watch a show and I just sit here and shuffle because I love having my hands busy. I don't know, I just like the feeling, and they're so, like, they're manageable to shuffle and to play with. So these are my travel cards. Okay, so the 5 of Wands, yeah. Things are changing when it comes to creative ideas. And look, this comes out under the Ace of Wands and under the Wise Guide. So we have where we're looking at the Wise Guy. Who are we looking for? I don't know. We may be looking for a physical being that all of a sudden comes into our world that's like very wise, and we just have the nudge, the communication, the feeling to follow them, to ask them questions, to ask them to assist us on our journey of curiosity. And all of a sudden, because we ask, or because we choose and we acknowledge that person as being wise in our life, we all of a sudden start getting new ideas. Maybe they start showing us what is possible with what their unique gifts are, and they become a mentor. So we start to get new ideas, changing the way in which creative ideas start to be answered or start to be noticed by our spirit, by even our conscious mind. And our conscious mind starts to be more in alignment with the spiritual nudge to follow this person or follow the ideas that are coming, these new ideas that are changing and shifting. And all of a sudden our conscious mind is now on board, right? Because we work to clear it of the old patterns, of the I wanted to say the Matrix. However, I just one of you actually sent me a message that I loved, and the original meaning of Matrix is aligned with the feminine energy, the Divine Mother. So we have been really, by saying, oh, we're exiting the Matrix, get out of the Matrix, we're supporting the throwing away or the turning away from the feminine. So instead, now moving forward, instead of saying the Matrix, I'm going to call it the Borg, like the cyborg that has really taken our electromagnetic field and turned it into a denser, lower intellectual thinking and feeling being. We have been supporting the cyborg, and the cyborg does not want us to be wonder tripping. It wants us to be in its world that tells us what to do and how to bring resources home, how to go to work, and how to do the same thing every day. It is the cyborg that has ingrained us to be slaves of it, rather than being in service to ourselves and in the highest and best good of others. So a big shift is going to happen in new ideas and insights that come forth. The Page of Swords coming out with the Sun. Okay. Page of Swords. It's a new level of thinking, new level of using the mind, the brain. New neural pathways have already been sparked or will start to be sparked. So I know in my world that's already starting to happen. So when you start learning something new, you're clumsy, you're a little bit messy with it. But if there's something that has your interest, that makes you feel the desire to do something, like again, I'm going to go back to crocheting for me. This new creative idea that all of a sudden I said yes to. I'm still messy with it. I'm clumsy. I have to unravel things a lot. And yet it is opening up a new way of thinking and being in my brain. It's creating new neural pathways, because when we just get into a routine like the cyborg wants us, we are on a loop, right? We just use the same neural pathways. This is how I brush my teeth. This is how I get dressed. This is how I go to work. This is what I do at work. This is what I do. I come home, and this is how we do, and this is when I go to bed. And it's a constant loop that takes the creativeness out of existence. So new ways of thinking, new wise individuals, new wise communication that starts coming in to our being creates new curiosity, awakens new curiosities, and we start to become someone we have never been before. And the cyborg world, I know I have someone in my life who's like, you never used to do that. Like, what? Like, you my I'm trying to think how far I want to go into this. My former husband, many times before I cut off communication, would always be like, what are you doing? You never did that before, and all of a sudden you're gonna go do that. And it would blow my mind, because I'm like, he can't even comprehend that people change, they grow, and they get new interests. Like, the fact that I had to explain, like, yes, I have this interest, and I'm following it. So yeah, no, I wasn't this person when I was married to you, but that's the whole fucking point. That's why we're not married, because I wanted to grow and wanted to change, and there was a dissonance there. There was a cognitive dissonance between how he thought and how I thought. And so now I'm okay. I have a spouse that is like, I'm like, honey, I'm going to go crochet. I'm going to go do this. I want to learn how to do that. I want to change my hair. And he's just like, babe, whatever you want to go do it. Because he is also in the same. He embraces new curiosities. He wants to learn new things. So that is where we are. So if we are surrounded with a network or people who don't understand change, or who are afraid of change, there might be some cognitive dissonance between those around you when you start opening up some latent, unique gifts that are all of a sudden coming alive and coming awake and wanting to be expressed. And there might be some feedback. So this is the moment of discernment too. Do you choose to keep these people in your world who aren't supportive or cannot understand, don't have the consciousness to understand growth and wanting to change and be, continue to evolve ourselves and our consciousness and our creative abilities? So that could be something that comes up in March for us to address. Page of Wands. Look, the pages keep coming out. Pages are, kind of, they've gone through a cycle and got to a point where they choose something and it's new. The Page of Wands, a whole new, this is he's one wand. This is one idea that all of a sudden I think is like being grounded in. And it comes on the Page of Cups. Oh, okay. The Page of Cups, and it comes under wonder tripping. So there is something that you are curious about, that when you follow it and you choose to go in that direction, all of a sudden a brand new way of feeling that feels really good, that feels supported. Look how grounded he is, and the water is symbolizing emotions. The cup symbolizes emotions. He is standing there saying, yes, I want to feel this. And this is how I am with crocheting right now. And again, it's not the crocheting. It's not the activity. It's what the activity is doing to repattern the brain. It's what the activity is doing to open up those new neural pathways. And when those new neural pathways open, they receive information differently because they're brand new. And when you think differently, you then feel differently, and you can think and feel aligned with the curiosity. Curiosity comes from your spirit, your unique spirit. My curiosities are going to be different than yours. Yours are going to be different from your family's. So you have to be unique and confident in following these and commit to that, so you can feel a whole different way, which then brings you into alignment with a whole new creative timeline to go down and to explore. And then we have the Five of Pentacles, yes, where you may have felt outside. You may felt, right here, these guys feel desire now. This all lands under feel desire now. We are being led to finally answer the call. What do we desire? Say yes to it. It's time. Because the cyborg world didn't want us to say yes to anything but the loop. But now the loop is starting to get a little redundant. It's getting, the loop of enslavement into one pattern of thinking, one pattern of feeling, and anxiety and overwhelm that's getting really old. So new curiosities are coming online, because no matter what, no matter who you are and where you are in consciousness, your consciousness is evolving because of the energies that we're in. As that happens, then we start to put down, lay down the old way of doing things, pick up a new way of doing things, say yes to a different pattern, say yes to a different curiosity. And as you do that, the 5 is, now you're going from the outside and you're going inward. And there's a big shift that's happening in the physical world now. So where you may have felt like you just couldn't fit in the world, that's starting to shift. And that's starting to shift because you're answering the call of the curiosity. And then the Ace of Pentacles. Man, do we have all of the aces? We have the Ace of Wands. Oh, sorry, Page. I was thinking the pages. So again, where you have felt maybe ignored desire, ignored the curiosity to feel the desire, where you've stayed in the loop before, it's brought some heartache, it's brought some challenges. But now that's starting to shift, and as you start to answer the call of feeling desire, I'm going to do that now. When something else comes in and you're like, ooh, I like that idea, you follow that. The Pentacles, your world is going to start to expand. Your physical world. This is where the manifestation starts. This is where it starts to come and be rooted in your physical life. So continuing to answer the call of curiosity is really where our unique gifts are going to start to become really, really obvious. Really obvious. So what I'm going to do now, I'm out of breath. I'm not breathing as I'm talking. I'm excited because I'm feeling energy flow. I'm starting to feel energy flow through me, and I'm super grateful. So let's just pick a couple. I'm just going to pick 3 runes. All right, so I've got this one. Looks like a little, there we go. Okay. And then we got this one. It's like looks like an M. I'm going to define these because I don't know what they are yet. I was curious. I was curious about runes. I've been watching. I have a couple of channels on Instagram I follow about, with runes, and I'm like, I don't even know what they're doing, but I kind of was, been interested, and I went into a little bookstore here in our little town, and I saw this little package of runes, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get them. So give me a second while I find these guys in here, and I'll read what it means, and we'll see if we can define them. Give me a second. See, this is all about learning new pathways. Eventually I'll figure these out. Eventually I'll learn them, but for now, I'm redesigning the way my brain thinks. It's a brand new modality here. Okay, so this one. This is called Sowilo. It's the letter S. The meaning is sun. And it's funny because I put it down on the sun card. Okay? Can't make this stuff up, really. Okay, so it means the sun. Associations are good guidance to support the wise guide. You're going to be receiving some guidance. And again, it could be internal guidance, but it feels, because this is more in the manifestation of the new earth, of our new, heaven on earth. I really believe this is going to be someone, it's going to be in physical form in some way. Wholeness, awareness, hope, goals achieved, individual victory, and honor. And the big word that I come up with as you look at this is honor. So honoring what comes up, what you're called forth, what you're called towards. Be really aware of that this month. Be tuned into what's pulling at me. What am I curious about? As you scroll through Instagram, really be aware, instead of like just doing the, the unaware scroll. Notice where you stop. Notice what catches your attention. This is going to be the new neural pathways that are going to start to call your attention to that which is curious, that is expanding your curiosity. Okay, so now we got the upside down. Hang on, see if I can hold this in a different way. An upside down M. Let's take a look at that. I got a little fly that all of a sudden decided to show up. I don't think I've seen the M yet, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, this is, it's actually, it looks like, see, new neural pathways. I see this as an M, but in the ancient alphabet, it is AWAS, and it's actually the letter E in this alphabet, and the meaning is a horse. The associations is balance, stability, harmony, teamwork, trust, and loyalty. So again, this new curiosity is going to bring you into balance. Curiosity is spirit-led. It's on the right brain. It's more intuitive-led. The intuitive side of you, the emotional side of you, is from the right brain, the right hemisphere. The left brain is what has been overworked, that is used to being in a loop, because the left brain works on logic, what it knows. So this is the month of really balancing out our left and right brain to create stability, in balance, to create harmony, trusting that where we are, and it came underneath the wonder tripping, so to trust where you are led in curiosity, and to have loyalty towards that curiosity. Be a loyal friend to it. Allow it to be a loyal friend to you, because whatever's being called forth in your curiosity, when you are loyal to it, it is then awakening a complete and utter new unique gift for you to follow, and for you to understand and to learn about yourself. I think that's pretty cool. And then the final one just is a straight line. It might be an I, might be an L, I don't know. Let's see. That's what my left brain, that was in the loop, that only knows my alphabet, that's what it is, how it interprets it. But we know that the left brain isn't always programmed to more possibilities. So now we're taking what we know about this letter, and it is the letter I in this, and it's called Isa. The meaning is ice, which is interesting, and the associations are frozen in time, concentration, stasis, non-action, psychological blocks, and standstill. And the interesting thing is, it comes in I put it down on this card, where you're putting like old things down, the old things that kept you stagnant, the old things that that kept you in the loop, the old programming of the Borg, and you're picking up new curiosities, you're picking up new thoughts, new beliefs. That's changing you, that is shifting you from always being on the outside. And I also associate that too. The cyborg world put our awareness and attention on everything outside of us, to make us believe that we had to go outside of ourselves to make change, or to not even to make change, to live. But we are now shifting to the inward world, where we acknowledge and follow the desire that is coming up in us at that time. So it's taking us out of that stagnation, the stagnation of the cyborg world, and taking us into the illumination of a growing and a new potential world for us to live in abundance and freedom and creativity, and in that frequency of the fifth dimensional world. So I'm going to choose one more card to bring us home, because I think this has been really good. So obviously, curiosity is the name of the game, to wake up and have these unique gifts in March become really freaking obvious, and we got to be loyal to them and to watch for that wise guide, and in whatever form that comes in, watch for that. Now, wise guide, what are all the forms that could be? Because sometimes we get into the loop of what we know. Yes, it could be a person, it could be a mentor, it could be a new channel that you're watching. It could be just, I mean, a guide comes in so many different ways, but that's where the awareness comes in for us to pay attention to what draws our attention. Where is our attention being drawn during March? And the last thing, safe and happy travel, protection from harm when journeying. Interesting. I've said about the wonder tripping. Maybe, there's a trip that needs to be taken. Maybe there's a place that needs to be traveled to. And remember, it doesn't always mean you have to get in a car or plane, train, or automobile. This could be wonder tripping into your heart, and you are safe. You are being guided to travel into new timelines. Go down the new timelines, like I was talking at the beginning. You have a new curiosity. You're like, what happens if I follow this? Give yourself some time in meditation and follow that timeline. Where does it lead you to? Because it could lead you to some amazing places that won't be awakened to you unless you go down in meditation within, travel within, to find more information about that curiosity. And one more card that I picked, wishes come true. Rapid achievement of your dreams and wishes. Yeah. And unique gifts take you there. Unique gifts do that. So your intentions for heaven on earth, here is the evidence that all of what we talked about today is leading you into your wishes coming true, your intentions becoming reality, your intentions becoming your world. So this has been really, thank you so much for being here with me. This has been the energy I have been missing. And I have been okay just being in the silence and just being in the integration of it. But after 6 or 7 weeks, I have wanted to bring my wise guides back alive. And that happened today with just following the conversation the cards took us on into the evolution of our unique gifts that we are going to be more aware of in March. And I want to hear your feedback. What came up for you looking at these cards? Where have you been directed to explore and be curious about? Just leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear. I've shared mine with crocheting and just simply following, with runes, like, again, curiosity doesn't have to be some new career choice. It can just be simple creative things that you learn about. And as you learn something new, again, whole new portals of pathways, of feelings, of mental ways of thinking, of new guides start pointing you in just maybe 1 or 2 degrees different from where you are now, but that opens up a brand new timeline. And that's what we're following, because the old cyborg timeline never ever takes you to heaven on earth. It's a dead end. It just keeps looping you around and looping around. You ever get lost and all of a sudden you're like, I've gone in a circle. Like we've already been here. We've already passed this 13 times. That's what the cyborg world does. Just keeps you in the loop. Now we are getting, we're following ourselves. We're getting out of the, there's a word that I want, but like when you're in a pool. I mean, when I was a kid, my cousin and I would like run in circles in the pool, my grandmother's pool. And by, after doing the same thing over and over, when we would stop, that momentum was already going. So the loop of the cyborg has been going for us for a long time. It's got us like in its vortex. So for us to escape the vortex, we have to go in a different direction, which means follow wonder tripping, whether physically or spiritually or mentally, into our inner world in order to find out what's calling us forth, what's calling our curiosity, and that's how we exit the cyborg loop world where we just get lost, where it just pushes us along. We are being pulled out of that by our unique gifts, so pay attention. Thanks for being here, everybody. It's been so fun. I love this stuff. I love it so much, and I'm glad to share it with you. So thanks for being here. Talk to you soon. Mwah.